Welcome to Copilot Podcasts. You know what they said was absolutely dead after the pandemic? The buffet. Gone forever, they claimed. Well, guess what? Golden Corral just opened their 500th location. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of America's most resilient restaurant chain, exploring how they survived when others failed and what it tells us about our relationship with food. With me is our resident food industry expert.
And what a story it is. You know, when people talk about American dining institutions, they often overlook the incredible journey of Golden Corral.
Take us back to the beginning. How did this all start?
Well, it's actually a classic American dream story. In 1973, James Maynard and William Carl opened the first Golden Corral in Fayetteville, North Carolina. But here's the interesting part. They only did it because nobody would give them a franchise.
Wait, what do you mean?
They actually tried to get franchises with Ponderosa, Bonanza, and Western Sizzlin', but none of them thought Maynard and Carl were financially worthy. So they did what entrepreneurs do. They made their own path.
Oh, that's incredible. And what did that first restaurant look like?
It was tiny compared to today's standards, just 175 seats, offering a steak dinner for $2.99. The real evolution came later when they introduced the buffet concept.
You know, speaking of buffets, I recently learned something fascinating about their origins.
Oh, you mean the Swedish connection? Yeah, what we know as the modern buffet actually started as something called a brännvinsbord in 16th century Sweden. It was basically just a small side table with snacks before dinner.
That's such a far cry from what we see today at Golden Corral with their endless buffet.
Absolutely. Today's Golden Corral offers over 150 items at their buffet. It's a perfect example of how America took a concept and, well, supersized it.
But here's what I don't understand. How do they make money? I mean, it's all you can eat, right?
That's where the fascinating economics come in. For every $20 in revenue, about $19 goes to overhead. They're operating on incredibly thin margins.
Only $1 profit per person? That seems impossible to sustain.
The secret is volume and labor efficiency. In a traditional restaurant, one cook might serve 25 customers per hour. At a buffet, that same cook can prep food for 200 people.
Ah, so it's all about scale.
Exactly. Their dining rooms are typically 5,000 square feet and can seat 475 people. On a busy Saturday, they might serve 900 customers.
You know what's funny? I saw this wild story on social media about someone supposedly eating 75 pounds of prime rib at Golden Corral.
Oh yeah, that viral story. Completely false. They didn't even have prime rib on the menu during the alleged incident. It's amazing how these urban legends spread.
But it speaks to something interesting about buffet culture, doesn't it? This idea that you can somehow beat the buffet?
That's actually a fascinating psychological aspect. Economists call it the flat rate pricing bias. People often overestimate how much they'll consume.
Like when we get unlimited data plans but barely use any data?
Exactly. And there's something called the taximeter effect. People will pay more just to avoid the psychological pain of watching the price tick up with each item.
But buffets are facing new challenges now, aren't they?
Yes, particularly with younger generations. One interesting factor is social media. Buffet food just doesn't photograph well for Instagram.
Wait, really? That's affecting their business?
Significantly, the younger demographic is more interested in photogenic, individually plated meals. Plus, there's a growing focus on health consciousness.
And yet, Golden Corral is still expanding. How are they adapting?
They've actually been quite innovative. They've introduced more health-conscious options and improved food presentation. Plus, they've embraced the family dining aspect that's core to their brand.
It's interesting how they've maintained that balance between tradition and adaptation.
And they've stayed true to their original mission of making pleasurable dining affordable. That's been key to their survival.
Let's talk about the pandemic for a moment. That must have been devastating for a buffet chain.
It was a massive challenge. I mean, buffets were literally everything people were trying to avoid. Shared serving utensils, close contact, open food.
How did they survive that?
They adapted quickly, implementing new safety protocols, offering family-style service, and even trying delivery options. But more importantly, they had the financial stability to weather the storm.
And now they're seeing a resurgence?
Yes, quite remarkably. Some locations are reporting hours-long lines. There seems to be this renewed appreciation for the communal dining experience.
Do you think that's partly due to the isolation we all experienced during lockdowns?
That's definitely part of it, but it's also about value. In uncertain economic times, people appreciate getting more for their money.
And Golden Corral has always been about value, hasn't it?
From that very first $2.99 steak dinner in 1973 to today, it's really been a constant in their business model.
What about food waste? That must be a huge issue for buffets.
It's actually less than you might think. They've gotten very sophisticated with their forecasting and portion control. Plus, they cook in smaller batches more frequently.
That's surprising. I would have thought the waste would be enormous.
They've had to get efficient. Remember those thin margins we talked about? They can't afford to waste food.
Let's talk about the future. Where do you see buffets heading?
I think we'll see more hybridization, combining traditional buffet elements with more modern dining concepts. Golden Corral is already experimenting with this.
What kind of experiments?
They're testing things like made-to-order stations, themed nights, and even some upscale offerings. It's about keeping the core concept while evolving with the times.
Do you think the buffet concept will ever truly die out?
You know, people have been predicting the death of buffets for decades, but they keep adapting and surviving.
Why do you think that is?
Because at its core, the buffet represents something deeply American: abundance, choice, and value. As long as those remain important to people, buffets will have a place.
And Golden Corral seems to understand that better than most.
They've managed to stay relevant by understanding their core appeal while being willing to evolve. That's no small feat in the restaurant industry.
What lessons do you think other businesses could learn from their success?
I think the big one is knowing your value proposition and sticking to it, while still being willing to adapt how you deliver it. Golden Corral has never wavered from their mission of affordable, abundant food for families.
Even when everyone said the buffet was dead.
Especially then. Sometimes the best opportunity is when everyone else is running in the opposite direction.
It's quite a success story, isn't it?
From one small restaurant in Fayetteville to 500 locations across the country. It really is the American dream in action.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Co-Pilot Podcasts. Any final thoughts?
Just that sometimes the most enduring businesses aren't the most flashy or trendy. They're the ones that understand their customers and stay true to their core mission.
And in Golden Corral's case, that mission is simple. Keep the food hot, fresh, and plentiful.
Exactly. Sometimes the simplest recipe is the most successful.
Thanks for joining us today on Co-Pilot Podcasts. Remember, the next time someone tells you buffets are dead, just point them to the line outside Golden Corral on a Saturday night.